Hey guys, today I just made $4,000 in a matter of like literally 3 phone calls today. And I just want to show you guys how much money there is to be made when it comes to insurance. Just so you guys know, what I do is completely compliant, completely legal. I don't scam old grandmas for health, for life insurance or anything. I specialize in health insurance. And the main people that I speak to are business owners and medical practices. You're probably thinking, okay, I'm 24 years old. Like, how the fuck do I do this, right? Well, guys, when it comes to this business, there's a few tricks that I've able to perform to be a top performing closer. I used to be a top performer closer, probably top 10 in the country when it comes to how many deals I was closing within a given period of every single quarter. That was back in 2022 and 2023. I went through 2 years worth of leadership in 2023 and going into 2024. And now, after realizing kind of what the income potential would be for leadership, I went back to being a traditional agent and being a high ticket closer. And it's not some one thing that you just have to keep working at. Insurance is one of those things that God blessed us with because of the residual income. Insurance is the number one way to make income nowadays. Number one way. And if anybody tells you that there's another thing that you could be doing, or you could do high ticket sales, I call bullshit on those people, because I make so fucking much money for what I do. It's just ridiculous. All right, so I'm gonna tell you guys some strategic ways of, if you were to get into this industry, how to actually work into it. And I'll tell you guys a lot of my personal experiences of what I've seen, and honestly a lot of the screw ups that I've had when it came to my business. Number one is that, guys, when it comes to your business, you are responsible for every little thing that happens into it. I don't care if it's a lead, you didn't get paid on a lead a certain way. I don't care if it was your leadership. I don't care what it is. You are completely responsible for every little thing that happens inside your business. All right, I'm put the roof up on my fucking $80,000 BMW. All right, cool. Awesome. So when it comes to this here, guys, you are responsible for a lot of this business when it comes to how you're trained and everything. And you're never fucking great. I am continually, always am looking for ways that I can, fasten up my pitch. I could do more closes. I'm always figuring out ways to get going. You need to always be in this growth mindset. You never had it figured out. A lot of insurance companies, they put you through 2 or 4 weeks worth of training courses, and they expect you to just be good to go. No, you need to do the simple work of actually figuring out, how can I be the best closer possible? And I'll give you guys some tricks here. So listen up. All right. Number one, you got to have a script. Obviously, that's super important. You got to have a good script. Okay. This is how I start every single phone call with my clients. And keep in mind, I usually do a lot of self-generated leads. So I'll mass text business owners and self-employed individuals, and I'll get people on the phone pretty easily. But let me show you. I'll say this, and this is after a client has already texted and is ready to go. I'll be like, hey, my name is Michael. How you doing? Great. I'm living like $1 million. Say my partner Laura, or if I was reaching out to them directly, I say, hey, I saw here you're looking for health coverage. Are you looking for yourself or for your family? Boom. You see how natural that sounds? Now there's different ways you could switch it. You could be more aggressive. You could be like, hey, my name is Michael. I saw that you were looking for health coverage. I could soften up a bit. I could be like, hey, yeah, my name is Michael. I saw you're looking for health coverage. Are you looking for yourself or for your family? You can even slow down. Hey, it's Michael. I saw you were looking for health coverage. Are you looking for yourself or for your family? You see how all these sound, I'm saying the exact same words, but they sound completely different, right? This is how I normally say it every single call. I say, hey, my name is Michael. I saw my partner Laura reach out to you as far as health coverage goes. Are you looking for yourself or are you looking for your family? Boom. That's what works for me. Not every single person's the same. Jerome talks different than Tyler, right? Stephanie talks different than Tyler as well, right? You gotta work what's good for you. And you know who's your own best critic? It's you. You know when you sound like crap. You know who you're gonna buy $1,000 insurance policy through, and you gotta be honest with these people. All right. Now, there's one question that I always say to every single client, and this is a guaranteed pain point solver, right? Jordan Belfort talks about pain points. You need to figure out what's important to you. What do you want to make sure is covered? Write that down, right? Listen up, guys. This is important. I say, what's important to you? What do you want to make sure is covered? I usually say that within the first 2 minutes of the call. They'll tell me if whatever their problem is, if their current plan's not paying for copays, if their current plan doesn't have their doctors in network, if their current plan's costing them $3,000 a month, right? You get a good insight of what is important to them as far as coverage goes, right? And you can just anchor on that when you're going through your sales script, okay? So that's some easy advice right there. But what I usually used to do is I used to get into the office at 8 a.m. and I would leave at 9 p.m. every day. I would work a 13-hour shift. This was back when I was just an individual agent working all for myself. And I would get there, especially if I'm doing about 30 to 40 pitches a week right now. So everything's pretty natural, you know, because you go from one to the next and you start at the day. You're very familiar with it. Okay, but when I used to do about 4 or 5 deals a week, not the like 25 that I do right now, it's just crazy how much I close. But anyways, you know, when I used to do like 3 or 4 closes a week, like you kind of lose this like mojo about yourself. You lose this confidence, and it's just because you're unfamiliar with it, right? If I told you to go ride a bike and you only hopped on a bike, you know, if you took a year off of riding a bicycle and you said hop on a bike, it's going to take you a little bit to get good at it, right? Again, and be able to ride a bike, you know, miles or whatever that looks like. You get the point. But the point I'm saying is that every single day when I was a new agent, I would get to my office about 30 minutes before I actually need my day to start. I would go and I would put in the voice memo. Your phone has it, a voice recorder, and I would say that 30-second pitch. Hey, my name is Michael. You know, I saw you had a request for health coverage. Are you looking for yourself or for your family? I would say that, and I would say in those different tonalities to figure out which one works best for me. I don't know unless I listen to myself. Do I sound like I got morning breath? Do I sound like I just woke up? Or are these the first words that I'm speaking to? Because you talk about blowing money. The worst thing you can do is hop on a phone call and boom, you sound like shit. You're losing money. I hope you know that. Okay. And that's just some really good insight. I would take 20 minutes. I would record myself talking about 5 different ways. I would go listen to the recordings, see which one sounds the best. And you know which one sounds the best because you know you pretty well, right? You know when you sound confident, you know when you sound like shit. And I would just continue to nurture on that until I could say it 5 times and I could be like, that's the motherfucker I would buy insurance from. And that's a really good insight on how you can get really good at this insurance stuff. Because now when you got this, you got to sharpen that sword, right? They talk about the harpoon. You got to sharpen this harpoon and be good to go. All right. Now, that is when it comes to your voice. It doesn't matter how good your systems are or any of that bullshit. If you suck, everything else is going to suck when it comes to this stuff. I hate to say it to you, but maybe I need to say it to you. If you're not closing deals, it's not because the client had to think about it. It's because you fucking sucked at your deal. You sucked at your job. All right. If you guys want to, I can give you my sales script of how this stuff goes. You can just, DM me, Michael_Freeze on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. You can reach me out there. But the big thing that I usually see is when it comes to clientele is that you are not as important to the client as you think you are. You're not. You're the guy signing them up for health insurance. So don't act like you need to be fucking like this godsend and you're like a new member of the family. Like, don't take it so personally on these deals. I used to get really caught up with, I'll have to think about it. And then they go sign up with another agent on the exact same plan that you quoted them. It sucks. Okay. And that leads to my next point is that you need to be able to sell everything. I used to sell for a captive insurance agency. I'm not going to say their name, but they sucked dick. There's so much tedious shit that you had to do to get a deal approved. These people usually had to be completely healthy, nothing going on with them just to get approved for the policy. And it really limits your possibilities because if somebody gets declined, you refer them out to another agent, and then they're the ones making the commission. And you just get a little commission check, like $300 or something, $200. It's not enough money. You need to be able to sell everything out there. You need to be able to sell to everybody. Only people you don't want to sell to are fucking brokies. I am very, very, very annoyed by brokies. Brokies, even if the policy's $20 a month and the policy would have cost $500 if they fucking were making good money, they'll still bitch about how they have a $15 copay. Brokies bitch about everything. Never fucking sell Medicare and never sell the brokies. That is my God-given advice. Rich people that are usually self-employed, right? 9 out of 10 times don't even have enough time to get their fucking physical done. So how the fuck are they going to be using this insurance a whole lot to get the good idea of actually how much a plan works or anything? And you don't want a guy that's going into the doctor 10 times a month, because if one bill doesn't if one bill doesn't go the way he was thinking it would, he's gonna fucking just shop you and then go to another plan and then have the same problem there, because all insurance is kind of, it kind of sucks. You know what I mean? That's what I would say is going to be your big thing. I would say one other thing that is going to be a big insight on that is that you need to get it's called your CLV. Alex Hormozi says this. This is your client lifetime value. What does that client, if that client were to stay with you, right, for the whole lifeline of their usual track, how much are they going to pay you? You need to figure that out with insurance. For me, it's about 18 months. Somebody's going to stay on my books for about 18 months before they shop a new policy. Now, that's on average, obviously, right? You and I both know that. But when it comes to a policy, I will try to get paid on a policy. I'll try to get paid a policy, and my cost per close, my CPS, my cost per close, or CPC for my CPC, needs to be around at least a third of what it would cost for me to get that book of business. So if, let's just say, over 18 months I get paid $100 a month off this deal, right? That my CLV is $1,800, right? 18 months, that's on average how long a client stays on the books. If I get paid $100 a month on that deal, that's $1,800. So I need to be realistically making, what would that be? That'd be about what would that be? I think it's around like $600, right? Yeah, $600 on to make that deal profitable for me. Now, a good CPC of cost per close, of how much money does it take for you to physically make a deal happen? I would say it has to be around $300 to $400. Okay, that's how you're gonna make money. That's the best way to do it. If it costs more than that, then you need to get better systems in place. My CPC at the start of 2024 was about $600. So I was doing okay, but you really see the chart move when that little bit of money starts actually making a difference. Just letting you know. With insurance, this stuff's residual. So that's on average a client to stay on the books for 18 months. So with that in mind, you got to think, okay, well, I need to make sure that I provide a good experience when I'm on the phone with them. I am just their insurance agent. I'm not going to handle every claim with them. I had some fucking broker tell me, I'm working in this office. I don't run a team anymore. But some client, it's the last week of open enrollment. And he told me, I was like, hey, you closing any deals today? Let's get it, bro. And he's like, oh, today's a customer service day. What? Bro, what? A customer service day? Dude, you got to make money every day in insurance, man. You got to make money every single day. Ain't no, it's customer. Dude, you do customer service on the weekend. You do customer service on Sunday. You do customer service at 9 p.m., 8 p.m., right? When you're not closing anymore. Fuck, I look like doing a customer service day. Bro, what are we talking about, man? You need to make money every single day. And there's systems in place that I do that makes it so you have to look at the numbers of how long does it take for me to close a deal. When I was closing deals on the phone, right, and I used to call phones, I used to make 500 calls a day. 500 calls, right? It would take about 1,000 calls to get a deal, okay? So I know, okay, if I do 500 2 days in a row, I should be getting on a pitch and I should be closing that person if I did the numbers. If I didn't do the numbers, I can't complain to myself because I didn't do the numbers. Now, for me, most people do texting nowadays. We're in this day and age where most people aren't fucking buying insurance from some random dude that just calls them on the phone, okay? So you got to think about that. And what I kind of do as an assessment is every about 10,000 leads that I drop, or I'll text. I'll do a mass text. Every about 10,000 leads I'll drop, I'll guarantee about 2 deals off that 10,000. Not bad, right? Sometimes more, but on average about 2 deals. I should be closing off that 10,000. So what do? Well, looking at my cost, right? Insurance is a fast game, but you also want to make it a long game. I want to close about 2 deals a day because I pay my assistant the same amount every day. My car bill is the same every month. My rent bill is the same month every month. I need to make great income. This isn't no getting by and just slowly building your book up and being a fucking lazy loser that works 40 hours a week. That's not what you do. Okay, you gotta be efficient. You gotta be proactive. You gotta think big picture. Right? I make $500,000 a year. 24 years old. I dropped out of college. Like, dude, you gotta think big picture, bro. And you gotta think also too, in like 20 years from now, how easy is it gonna be to sell insurance? AI took what I was actually going to school for. I was going to school for marketing. Do you think I would have a job if I just graduated from college? Fuck no. Fuck no. I would not have a job. No, not at all. So you got to think, okay, in 20 years from now, they might have AI sales agents just selling this shit, right? And where's my job going to be, right? You got to think about that. You got to think about the fast money that you can make, because once you get enough money, money can start making money, right? Got to think big picture, guys. And so that's what I do. I text about 10,000 people a day. I hired out an assistant to do the bullshit that I didn't like doing. There's certain stuff that you do every day that you fucking hate doing, and I know it because I'm an insurance agent too. And one thing that I hated doing was texting people. Everything and that's when it comes to our systems, is automated. About 80% of it is. Only thing my assistant needs to do, it will text the person asking if it's for the family or individual, ask the ages, it's all automated, and all the text templates that we use for how we text clients quotes over, how we ask for getting on the phone, they're all text templates. I don't think my assistant really types out any messages at all. And you know what's ironic is she sends out so many few of those that she'll ask me if you know, hey, how should I reply to this, if she actually has to, you know, actually go in and, you know, reply to something that's a little bit more strategic. But everything's automated. Everything's automated with the business. You got to think, if I saved if let's just say I text back 20 prospects in a day, and each one of those takes about 20 seconds to send out that message. That's 20 times 20 clients, that's 400 seconds, okay? 400 seconds is what, about 7 minutes? 7 minutes times 365 days, that's 2,100 minutes. Divide that by 60, right, for an hour. If you divide that by 60, you're looking at about 30 hours of your life that you just spent fucking wasting time of texting people. Think about that. I could have spent that 30 hours, that's about 3 work days, right? I could have spent 3 hours worth of my work days actually working and not replying back to text messages. And that's just one little thing on the thing as far as your systems go. Think about the things that you've done when it comes to your business, like 5 or 6 times in a day, and you got to think, okay, is there a way to make this faster? Because those 20 seconds adds up. Right? You got to think about that. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest with you. And this is how you get good at this shit. I mean, like, I automated all the bullshit that I didn't like doing, like texting clients, booking out appointments, all that bullshit. I sent it to my assistant. I hired an assistant in the Philippines. I pay her about $300 a week about $300 a week for a 30-hour shift, 40-hour shift. And I do that because I'll close more 3 deals on top of the shit. And I don't like doing the bullshit, you know, when it comes to the business. So I'm just being real with you. Gotta fucking be able to automate this stuff. Think strategic. You are a business owner. I hate to say it. You're an insurance agent, yes, but you are a business owner, and you gotta think that way. Because you can't think like you're just some fucking like guy working a 40-hour work week. That's not fair to you, and that's not fair to the clients that you represent. One thing that I will say, and this is to kind of wrap it up, is one of my key points of what I do with insurance, is that with insurance, guys, I became a leader, but the money you make as a leader versus the stress you're put under is not, it doesn't make sense. You usually make about 3% off of whatever your agent makes, and they make about 15-20% off the deal. It doesn't pay enough. It really doesn't. I mean, you're going to get paid, on average, if the agent's making about $100 a deal and you're making $3 on top of that, if you got 100 agents and they're closing 100 deals a day, well, that's a lot of money. You're making $3,000 a day residually. Good for you, right? But a lot of the time, you're making $3 off that deal, times that by 18, you're making, what, $54 off that one deal? Now you got the headache of training that agent. You got the headache of working when that agent's working. You're always chained to the job. You can't go take a vacation because your team relies on you, right? You gotta think big picture. The amount of time I spend training a team, I could have fucking actually just made more money just selling myself. Now, the only time that applies is I was a sales manager for 2 years, okay? Working in commission environment, making 3% off my team. I made more money, yeah, I did, but the amount of time that I was spending, it was way more profitable to go just work for myself and just be a high closer. Really was way more profitable. And I realized that, and I'm like, what the fuck's the point of me doing all this shit if I'm not really making any money? Also, too, you got to think, man, an agent most of the time they can go flip their book at any time. So if they find another company and the grass is greener, we work in commission. I mean, it's nothing to them. If the grass is greener on the other side, they're gonna just flip their whole book to that to a new company, and then boom, all that time and money and everything you've invested in that person is just getting ripped right back out of you, and complete waste of time. I'm just being real with you. So don't try to do leadership. Try to fucking just be a high ticket closer and close what I do. I mean, I do about 80 deals a month right now. 80 deals. And I get paid on average about $2,000 a deal. Do the math. That's $16,000 I get added residually to my life every single month. Going into January, I'm going to make over $50,000 a month. That's a whole car I could pay for. Now there's business expenses and shit, but you got to look at the CPA and you got to look at the CLV, guys. That's what I got for you today. Just giving you some wisdom. If you're an insurance agent, go get with the companies. We're actually incorporating too life insurance here going into next year. You know how easy of a deal it would be if, let's just say, somebody's paying $1,500 a month for their family and I get them a plan for $1,000 a month, right? I can go sell that family $100 worth of life insurance, and usually you get paid about 100% commission on these deals. So if you think about it, I'm going to get paid, if a client, that's first year, so you'll get paid $1,200 today on that deal for life insurance, and then plus the $1,800 if they stay, back to that example, if I get paid $100 a month off that client, average client stays on the books for 18 months. If I add $100 worth of life insurance, no, I'm not getting only paid $1,800 on that deal. I'm getting paid $3,000 off that deal. So my CLV almost doubled. It went up by about 40% just by doing that. And imagine if I closed 80 deals a month. Let's just say I sell the life insurance on whatever, right? I could sell 30 clients a month on life insurance. I can make an additional $30,000 a month off of that. Now it costs money. I mean, it does cost money. You got to think, if I close 20 deals a week, 20 to 25 deals a week, and the cost per close is about $350, $400. We'll do the math on that. That's about $8,000 a week I'll spend on, about $8,000 a week I'll spend on my business. Think about that. I spent $8,000 a week on my business, but then I make $500,000. And then if I could quit everything, I could stop doing it, and I'm still going to make that money because it's residual income. Okay. I think the CPC is around 300 because I spend about, when it comes to everything, I spend about 25 to $3,000 a year on insurance, on a week on insurance. I spend about, for business expenses and everything, I spend about $3,000. So do the math. I mean, it's just kind of crazy what kind of money is, but be a closer. You need to fucking do this stuff and you need to be good. Now I got another appointment I got to close, make another 2 bands. So hey, I wish the best for you, man. This is some good advice. And if you need help with this stuff, DM me, Michael_Freeze on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to help you out and just be a fucking closer. That's it. You really need to do it. Hopefully some of these systems, I can give you a script, I can give you this shit. And if you need leads to drop this stuff, because I make pretty good money doing this, let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.